This video is sponsored by DJI. So I've covered a ton of different batteries that have come on the market, and they've all served some sort of purpose. It's great to have extra power around when you need it, whether you're off grid or the power goes out. These days, a ton of batteries out there are just a sea of same. So I heard that DJI was making a battery. My first question was, why? We use a ton of DJI products here. A lot of our videos are filmed with the Osmo Pocket 3. 100% of our drones are all DJIs. We use DJI for content creation all the time. And if DJI were going to get into the market, I'd at least hope they would bring something different than other batteries that we've seen. And actually, they did. Meet the DJI Power 1000. Before I tell you about everything it can do, let me tell you my favorite things I've been doing for years in these videos, and thank you guys for supporting the channel, for being awesome human beings. You had a chance to win $500. Leave me a comment down below. Tell me the first thing that you would power with your all new battery pack, or tell me a fact about yourself or a joke. Give the video a thumbs up. Just make sure there's a way for me to contact you either in your comment or on your linked YouTube page. Let it run for 10 days, open to anyone in the world. All right, so this is called the DJI Power 1000, and putting power in the name, I think, is obviously pretty fitting because that's what it's about. I should probably technically call it DJI Power 1024, since that's the amount of watt hours that the battery's got with a stable output of 2,200 watts. So that is a significantly different output compared to other batteries. Its capacity usually cap around 1,800 watts. And again, I have tested pretty much every single one of those batteries, so I got some context for how big a difference this can make. And if any of those numbers don't mean anything to you, that's okay. All this means that you can power a ton of different things without the battery failing. We're talking things like if you want to power kitchen appliances or medical devices or recharge just your personal things, this device can handle it. It also has a 2,600 watt output for just 30 seconds if you have a device that requires a bit more juice when it starts up. It's more common than you think. And overall, it has a 4,400 watt peak or sort of surge output. So power is a very fitting name here. And I mentioned at the beginning what DJI is going to do to stand out. That's it. And that is a gigantic difference maker in this space. There's very few things in the battery world more frustrating than having the capacity available, but not having the output sort of power what you need. And we've seen that happen time and time again. So this gives me a ton more options. If you look at this thing, you're probably gonna be like, John, it only's got 2 AC ports, and that's not that many, especially compared to other batteries on the market. So the big question is what gives with DJI? This is intentional on DJI's part. If you look on the right side of the battery, there are 2 more ports here, and they're calling it the SDC port. It stands for Smart DC. Essentially, it's a bi-directional port you can use to power other accessories and devices. And because it's a DJI battery, if you have other DJI products, you get a gigantic benefit from using that port. So like I said earlier, we use DJI products all the time. Actually, we just got this in. It is the newest Mavic 3 Pro. It is a beast. So we go outside and shoot car content, or we want to get some sort of really good aerial shots for a pool video or something. This is a hands down the best way to do it. And it has a ton of solid features like 3 camera setup and great flying dynamics. Plus, it's got killer battery life, especially for a drone. But like all drones, the battery life is still going to be its weakest point no matter how good it is. And it's gotten really great the past few years, but eventually you're gonna have to charge. And that is where this SDC port comes in. So the port lets you fast charge DJI drone batteries, and it works for the Mavic batteries, the Air 3, Inspire, and even the Avata. It is really fast. So normally when plugging into the wall, the Mavic 3 battery takes 70-ish minutes to charge with a 100 watt USB-C power adapter. With the SDC adapter, the time is cut to 32 minutes, and that is a gigantic difference. And to kind of show you what that means, keep in mind that Mavic 3 Pro can fly up to 43 minutes. So if you had 2 drone batteries, you could recharge a dead battery to full in less time than it would take to drain the battery that is in the air. That is insanely impressive. And recharging DJI drones, the cool reason, it's not the only reason the SDC port is here, it can also recharge with solar. And because this is a new high power port, you can charge with up to 800 watts of solar input, which is more than pretty much every other battery out there. The only downside to this port is you need adapter cables to use as accessories. And that probably is a real downside, but once you have them, they do make the charging experience way better. All right, so that's not the only thing that is fast about this battery. Even though the SDC port is getting a lot of praise, there are two other ports that are like super fast. So first is the AC recharge port. It's sort of the normal port you'd use to recharge the battery at home. You just plug it into the wall and it just charges up pretty normally. The difference here is that it charges insanely fast. It supports 1200 watt fast recharge mode to bring the battery to 100% in 70 minutes. If you've ever used a big battery like this, you can say know how fast that is. It's also quiet when it does it. So recharging, it's only 23 decibels, so it's not gonna like bother anybody. The other fast ports that are here are two USB-C ports built in for charging accessories like phones, laptops, that kind of stuff. So these two ports both support 140 watts of output, which is also a ton. There's 40% more output than other batteries. So that's actually, in case you're comparing, that's about 40% more output than other batteries on the market. It means, like, for example, you could recharge a 16-inch MacBook Pro at full speed over USB-C without needing a power brick. And there are two of those ports. You could charge two MacBook Pros at 50% in just 30 minutes with only USB Type-C cables. There are a lot of battery packs out there. A lot of them are really good, and some tend to bring different things to the table. But what sort of DJI is bringing here is speed, speed, and speed. And for a lot of reasons, this is going to be the battery pack that you're going to want to get. Do you wish it had more outlets? 100%. But what's there will work and will work fast, especially for things that have to have sort of a huge amount of power to start up. And that's sort of a big failing point with a lot of these big battery packs, is that they can't power everything. They might have a ton of watt hours or kilowatt hours, but they can't power what you need. DJI, I think, smartly waited, sort of surveyed the marketplace, identified the problems, and fixed it. If you want to learn more about the DJI Power 1000 or even its little brother, the 500, or any other DJI products, all links you need will be down below.